This is Dave Chaos, and I'm here with Gregg A. Smith. The name of this podcast is the Larry Tutson Jr. Foundation Story. Its beginning, the years of giving, and why. The Larry Tutson Jr. Foundation is named after your son, whom you lost in 2002. I'd like to offer you both condolences on behalf of myself and KNON.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
When was Larry born?
December 23rd, 1972.
Who was he as a young man?
Oh, Larry, as a young man, was very giving, supportive to his family. He was the life of the room. He could walk in a room, and if you had a down day or feeling a little discouraged about anything, he would always lighten up that room with his personality. Very outgoing personality, very energetic, very talented, very, very talented as a young man. Played football, ran track. I could just go on and on and on about him.
Did he have any children?
Yes, he have two children, Larry Joe Tutson III and Larecia Janae Tutson. Trey was 10 when Larry passed away, and Janae was 3.
We just celebrated his 10th birthday
On the
day before
Right.
Larry's passing. We refer him to as Man because that was his nickname, as Man. So you might hear us say Man because it's such a natural thing for us to call him Man. We're talking about Larry, but his nickname with us was Man, and he earned that name by being a young man representing as a kid, very maturely as a kid, as a leader, as a someone that other children would look up to.
Right.
And he adopted that name by not only us, but the rest of the family as Man.
As a reflection of the maturity he had at an early age.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Did Larry ever go to the KNON studios?
Yes, he did on numerous occasions. He and my other son, Gregg Andre, when they were teenagers, mere teenagers, when we were located on San Jacinto, he and my other son would come down and then help me with my players drive. Back in my beginnings here at KNON, they also had to stand in for me after I taught them how to run the board. They actually had to stand in and hold my show down for me for almost.
Larry acted as a KNON DJ.
Yes, for almost a month. He and my other son did, and they were like, I think Larry was about 16 when he did this, and my other son was younger than that. And they were actually taught them how to run the board, and I gave them a playlist, and they had been around, by them being around me all their lives musically, they pretty much had a good handle on, the southern, on blues and soul and music back then that we were playing, because they grew up listening to it here in the house, and also listening to my music as an artist. And so they were very adverse at songs and picking songs and blues songs that were way beyond their time. And they actually understood basically what I would needed from them for that 2 weeks, almost 3. In fact, it was 3 weeks, almost a month. Yeah,
almost a month
that they
ago.
held my show down,
Mhm.
and they did an outstanding job. With all the feedback I got, they did a tremendous job.
Did he enjoy being a DJ?
Yes, he did, very much so. He was very musically inclined. I taught him and my other son how to play keyboards and drums, and Larry was a tremendous musician, writer. He actually recorded some records. I produced his first record for him, and this was a few years prior to him passing. We released his first single, but he was trying to walk in my footsteps as a musician.
Certainly sounds like it.
Yes.
How old was Larry when he passed?
He was 29 years old.
And if you don't mind my asking, I would like to ask what happened to him.
Well, he was helping a friend. Larry was the kind of person that he had friends in almost every walk of life, and everybody looked up to him like a guardian angel. The day that he passed away, he was helping a friend. One of his friends was in distress, female, and she was going through some things with I guess apparently the young man that she was dating, and Larry was trying to help her. And he actually checked her into a hotel room to try to give her some peace of mind, to try to get her mind together, as to help her through what she was going through. And immediately after they were checked in, there was a robbery. Someone kicked in the door and shot him at gunpoint.
If someone has information about the case, which remains unsolved, correct?
That's correct.
Absolutely.
If someone has information about the case, how could they get it to the police?
Basically, they would call the Dallas Police Department. Detective Ned was the detective assigned to the case back then in 2002. I'm sure, that if someone knew or found out anything that they wanted to report to help us with closure to find out who killed Larry, I'm sure if they called the Dallas Police Department, they've still got record of the case, even though it's a cold case. But I'm sure that they could easily access the records and be able to assist anyone that might come forth.
The Dallas Police Department never closes a homicide case.
Well, that's good to know that.
And if anybody did have information, they could contact the Dallas Police Department, DPD, in regards to a cold case.
Right. And also, Dave, I also think they can reach out to Dallas Crime Stoppers. I was kind of looking back on some of the publicity that we had got back then from Channel 11 and Channel 4, and Crime Stoppers was one of the things that came up also, that they could reach out to Crime Stoppers as well.
If they chose to remain
Absolutely.
anonymous.
Absolutely.
What part of him inspired you to feel a toy drive was an appropriate tribute to him?
What inspired us, Dave, to do the toy drive was, like I said, Larry was a giving and loving person. And for me as a mother, losing him was one of the hardest things in the world to face. And the pain was so severe that I've learned, I'll just say this, I've learned in time that how you release pain is reaching out and helping somebody else. So as I was going through the personal pain of losing my baby boy, God gave me the vision to do something positive for people. And it originally started out, we were trying to do the Feed the Homeless, giving back, trying to feed the homeless in South Dallas. And we did that. And because we didn't have a restaurant base, that was kind of cut back. So we still didn't want to stop there. We still had a spirit of giving. And that's how the toy drive got started. And we wanted to reach the neighborhood that would really need it, because that's what inspired us. There's a lot of toy drives. There's a lot of other places that's doing giving to children at Christmas time. But we wanted to meet the need of the people that really need it through the toy drive. And once again, Larry's spirit was so loving and giving, and he was always trying to help somebody. So we felt like that was appropriate for us to give back, and that's how the toy drive actually got started.
How long after the loss before you started the toy drive?
The following year.
This toy drive is unique in many ways. Any child who shows up with a parent or guardian gets a toy. There are no obstacles or red tape for the parents or guardians. How do you ensure one toy per child?
How we ensure one? Well, we really give more than one. We try to, okay? So how we ensure that is, like now, we're getting ready to start the toy drive, and you have to actually start it early in order to be able to meet the need of the people. And one of our pet peeves is that we always want to be able to have enough toys for the entire community. So we reach out to friends, family, public to help us with this. It's not just something that we could just do totally on our own. We have to have the support of the community as well to be able to feel the need to give back. And we've been so blessed to be able to meet the need of so many in South Dallas. We've gotten to the point where we started out with just a few people just believing in the vision, and being able to do a few families. And now we have escalated to almost the entire South Dallas Metroplex, not just South Dallas, Oak Cliff, So we were able to meet that need, Dave, through community help.
When did the toy drive start, and what was the first year like?
The first year was, we actually started out of our own pockets. The first year we didn't have sponsors, any sources like that. Myself, Barbara, Ariel Griffin, and a few friends, we actually started ourselves with buying as many toys as we possibly could ourselves out of our own pockets, which was not a whole lot back then compared to what we're doing now with the demand that it has came to now since we've been doing it. But back then we started out of our own pockets, and we did it at Ariel's Blues Palace, 3100 Al Lipscomb Way, and we had just a few toys on some of the tables, and maybe just maybe 2 or 3 bikes or something like that. Wasn't very much, but it served as a beginning for us, and it served as a outlet, as my wife said, Barbara said, for us to be able to release the pain through giving, and even at that small level of that we could offer the community at the time, it helped us in the first year. And as the second year came around, and it got a little bigger, and we got a few more people on board to support it. And that's basically the beginnings of it.
What were the biggest lessons learned the first year?
Once you came to grips with the reality of him gone, and got involved with the toy drive, started the toy drive, the effect that we could have in serving a community that was probably one of the most underserved communities in the Metroplex is South Dallas. And we learned that those people there were really, really, really in need of support of what we had to offer. The children were so appreciative, the parents were so appreciative, and it touched our hearts. And it really let us know the impact that we could bring to the community through this project. And once we realized that, they gave us fuel, emotionally as well as spiritually, to be able to take it further down the road. And so it taught us a whole lot in the spirit of giving, how important it is to give, how important it is to go into the community and meet the people that's less fortunate than you are, and to be able to see the smiles on the children's faces and the parents' faces, and appreciation and gratitude that they received from this giving.
As the event grew, what became some of your biggest challenges?
One of our biggest challenges, Dave, was just trying to make sure that we had enough toys to meet the need of what we were going to be faced with. That right there is one of the things that you have sleepless nights about, because, even with all the giving that you could give, if there's one child that you didn't meet the need of, then that was a challenge, that was truly a challenge. So that was one of the things that we dreaded the most, is not having enough to meet the need of the community.
Why do you have the toy giveaway event at RL's Blues Palace?
Once again, we feel that community is one of the most underserved communities in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And RL Blues Palace is sitting right in the center of South Dallas. And a lot of folks in that community don't have vehicles, or cars, or transportation, etc. They could actually walk over to the venue, to the Blues Palace, and which we still today have a lot of the families that actually walk over and bring their children over to get toys. So basically, that area was prime for this.
It's a much needed community.
It's prime. It was prime for. It was something that was. It was an entity that needed to be brought into that community, because there's numerous of toy drives going on during the holiday season, but most of them are out perimeters or suburbs, etc. And a lot of these folks don't have transportation or cars to be able to go out to the big toy drives and be able to participate, simply because their means of transportation or resources to be able to get there, it was not there.
What was RL's reaction when you came to him and asked about doing a toy drive at his venue?
He was very receptive. By him being in that community for so many years, he knew the need, and I think it was something that helped him as well in terms of having the opportunity to be able to give back to the community that supports him and his business.
How do you find volunteers for the event, and how many are involved?
That can go as far as 30 to 40 sometime volunteers. Before, when we first started, it was just family and friends that we would include as far as volunteers, and then we just kind of started reaching out and asking, other people to be a part of it. And then we had to find another way to do it because it was bringing in too many outside people. So we try to keep it on a personal level to the people that feel what we feel as far as being volunteers. Because, to be a volunteer, you still got to have a caring heart. You still got to know that we got to take care of this community. We got to take care of these kids. You can't just walk in and just say we're going to give these kids this toy. No, you got to feel these kids. You got to get out there and you got to talk with them. It's a personal thing.
Takes a special person.
A special person, exactly. Not just somebody to say I want to volunteer. So this year, last year we did a drive-by and we kind of cut back on the volunteers because of COVID. We have had as many as 30 to 40 volunteers, but because of COVID last year we cut back and we kind of screen them. A lot of people call, and at some point, like I said, we have to cut back because COVID is still live. So we want to get not necessarily professional people, but people, like you said, have a caring heart and a special person, to be able to really get out there and just touch that community.
That really gets it. That really gets what it's about.
Get the vision, yeah.
What are some of your fondest memories of the toy drive?
Oh God, he has that story.
We have a whole bunch of stories, actually, because every time you gift a child with a toy, the light that you see in their eyes and the smiles on their faces, it actually makes your Christmas. It actually makes your Christmas. If you don't have the Christmas spirit, then you will receive the Christmas spirit by giving, certainly to a community that's really in really dire need of support. One of the stories that I call my Christmas story is that I guess maybe 5 years ago, we had wrapped up the toy giveaway, and I think we might have had 400 or 500 children that came through and got toys. And Barbara and I came in separate vehicles because we had our vehicles loaded down with toys we brought from the house. And after we finished dispersing all the toys, as I was leaving, I got right there on the corner of MLK and Malcolm X Boulevard in South Dallas. And I looked over to the right, the bus stop right there. And this lady was standing there waited on the bus, and she had a little girl, looked like she probably about 3, maybe 4 years old, maybe 4 or 5 years old, little girl. And as I glanced in my rearview mirror, I realized I had 3 toys that I forgot to take in out of my automobile into the club. And I realized that this child that I was looking at was a little girl, and the toys were for a little girl. It was dolls. And the Spirit led me to pull over and approach this mother and ask her permission. Well, first of all, explain to her what we had just finished doing a few blocks down with the toy giveaway. And said, if you don't mind, ma'am, I've got a few toys here left. I'd like to give to your daughter, if you don't mind. And she said, sure. And when I reached the first doll to the baby looked up. And when she realized what doll it was, she realized it was the doll that she was wishing for Christmas, a doll called Dollar. It was a popular doll back then. And when I handed her this doll, she looked at the doll and looked up at me and her mama and looked at her mama and said, Mama, that's the doll I wanted for Christmas, Mama. I wanted Dollar for Christmas. That's the doll I wanted for Christmas. And I handed the doll to her, and she jumped up and grabbed me by my legs and just hugged me, and I was just like putty, because that was confirmation to me that out of all the children we distributed toys to that day, those 3 toys were earmarked and destined for that child. And when she received those toys and she reacted the way she did, it broke me down. I couldn't even drive. I went back and sat in my car for about 15 minutes before I could actually drive, because it really struck me that these toys was ordained for that child.
Yeah. Fate.
It was meant for that child. Okay. And that's my Christmas story, because we never know. How the Spirit's going to lead you, what direction it's going to lead you in. But I'm so thankful today that it led me in the direction that it did, to see this child at the bus stop, and for this toy to be the perfect toy that the child had dreamed of getting for Christmas. That really, that made my Christmas, and that touched my heart. That also let me know that we were doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason. And I'll never forget it, the feeling that I had, and the profound effect that it had on me that day, and significance that it had on that child.
Sounds like an inspiration that continues for you.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. It's confirmation that we were doing the right thing in the right community.
Barbara, some of the most memorable children you've met doing the toy drive.
Oh my goodness, David's been so many. Little girl, a couple of years ago, we give the bikes away. There was several different ways that we did our bike giveaway. One of them was we would do the toy drive, and at the end of the toy drive, we would give the bikes away after the toy drive. So this past year, we did it a little bit different.
After the toy giveaway.
After the toy giveaway, we did it a little bit different. We allowed them to reach in a bucket as you were getting your, after you got your toys, and pull out a number to win a bike. And I remember this one little girl won a bike, and she lived right in South Dallas. When she won her bike, we would put the bikes in the trunk of the car so that they would be able to take them home with her. But this little girl wanted to ride her bike home. She lived right around the corner from the club. And she told her mama, she actually was persistent on riding her bike home. And mama, of course, that's her baby. It's Christmas time. So she let her baby ride that bike home. That was really, really, really something. And then, Dave, just some of the children that come, some of them just leave a lasting impression on you. There was a 4-year-old boy also last year. He was in the car with his mom, and I think it was a couple other children in the car with them as well. And this little boy had he kind of reminded me of Man that day because he had such an outgoing personality. All the other kids, when you gave them their toys, they were kind of just quiet, just kind of nonchalant. But when this kid got his toy, he was like, yes, thank you. Those kind of things really, they stick with you. And everybody, all the volunteers, I guarantee you if they were in this room today, they could tell you about their little boy because he left a lasting impression on everybody that was there that day.
What are some of the most popular toys?
Of course, the bikes, of course. But certainly, basically, the toys, we found that the toys for infants and all the way up to 10, but I would say the bicycles are the most popular. The dolls are very popular amongst the little girls. Some of the footballs and basketballs and baseballs are very, very popular amongst the boys. And in games, etc. Little games they can play.
Do you have a unique parent story?
I have a couple of unique parent stories. One of the things that we did before the pandemic is we would allow the children to pick out their own toys. Now, the parents have to accompany the children, okay? The parents have to be with the children. So from learning how to do the giveaway, we learned that the way that the children would be able to receive their own personal toys that they would want is we would have to have the parent to stand on the wall so that the children could receive their own toys. So that was kind of challenging because as a parent, some of the parents, they see all these toys. Of course, they see the biggest toy. So this is the toy that they want to receive for their children because it's a big toy, but it's not what the children want.
It's not necessarily what that child wants.
What the child wants. So the challenging thing about that was we had to allow the parent to stand on the wall so that the children could actually pick out the toys that they would want for Christmas, whether it would be a small toy or a big toy. And that was kind of compromising, with the parent because some of the parents, like I said, they wanted to pick out the toys for the children, but it's about the children, so we allowed the children to pick out their toys.
Toy user's choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me add to that. We also learned that a lot of times when we had to learn this, and this is why we put that in our plan in terms of organizing, is to have the parent stand on the wall and the volunteers would take the family down the aisles, age-wise, gender-wise, and pick their toy. Because we realized when we first started that a lot of times the child would go out the door crying because mama picked a toy they didn't want. So we said, no, this is all about the child. What makes you. This is all about the child getting what they want, not what the parent want for the child, right, but what that child want in terms of the toy. So this is why we adopted to have the parents to stand on the wall. And said, well, if you don't mind, let us adopt your child just for a minute and take them shopping down through the aisles. Let them pick, if you don't mind. Now, that's the only way you're going to be able to receive the toys. We have to make that clear. Because, like I said, like Barbara was saying, at first we ran into the issue of the parents going to just grabbing toys and this and that. for the children, for the child, and the child was looking like, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I want this toy. It could have been a smaller toy. You see, and so we had to learn that, and that was just through experience. You know.
Yeah, and then some of the parents that come in, they're so thankful because the situations that they were in, some of them weren't able to do Christmas for their children. So the giveaway was just a blessing to them as well as their children. And that's what make you feel good when you know that you've actually, bless these children where they would be able to have a Christmas where their parents weren't able to do it. That's ultimate. That's a wonderful feeling right there. It's a wonderful feeling.
Anything you'd like to share with the listeners before we wrap up?
I'd like to say that we're very pleased to have had the support that we've gotten down through the years. Each year, the need grows greater because the word gets out what we're doing, and we get more and more children coming, more and more parents bringing their children to this giveaway. But I would say we're reaching out to the community to try to make sure we meet that demand and not fall short in terms of the amount of children we might receive. Just from the history, each year has gotten greater and greater. Okay, but we're asking the community to come in and be a part of this, to be able to reach into your hearts and bless a family that's less fortunate maybe than what your family is. So we're actually asking anyone that want to help us out. The Larry Tutson Jr. Foundation is a nonprofit organization, 501c3, and we're also very, very thankful that KNON is partnering up and to be able to help get the word out, so we can reach a great amount of people and be able to collect a great amount of toys to make sure that we guarantee that no child show up and we've ran out.
Right.
So we want to thank you, Dave, as station manager, and we want to thank the station overall, the volunteers here, etc., in advance, partnering up with the Larry Tutson Jr. Foundation to help us to be able to take it to a whole nother level.
Well, I also would like to thank the station as well. When Gregg mentioned it to me the other day, I was just in tears because when God gives you a vision and you just see it transpiring right in front of your eyes, it's just a very emotional feeling. And also, we've had some wonderful, wonderful sponsors to help us with this. I mean, I don't want to call names because I don't want to miss anybody, but it's such an ultimate feeling to know that you're giving, you're helping, you're giving back, and you meet the need of a child that may not even have anything. It's a wonderful feeling. And I guarantee you, if you would just step beyond your own door and reach out and say that this year, I'm going to touch a child, I'm going to bless a child, I'm going to bless a family, you'd be surprised what that would do for you. You would totally be surprised. I mean, it's such an ultimate feeling to know that you're giving back. And even if you can't, if you would just come to that community and just stand with us and just see what's going on over there, to see the people that we're helping, the children that we're blessing, it would just make you feel like giving, make you feel like doing something to help somebody. And again, I just thank the sponsors that we've had that believed in this vision. I just thank, RL for opening his doors for us to be able to do it, and him and his staff giving back to bless it, and even one of your DJs here at the station, Bobby Wilbanks. I mean, he believes in this vision, and he step in every year and just do 100% because he believes in it. He see where the need is. And we're just inviting you all to just come on and be a part of this. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful feeling. And I guarantee you will really feel better about Christmas because it's all about giving. It's all about giving. So if you would just reach deep in that heart and just come on and help us out, and let's just bless as many families and as many children as we can this year, you will truly be helping the Larry Joe Tutson Jr. Foundation.
Well, I'd like to thank both of you for sitting down for this podcast. KNON is proud to join in such a positive event born out of tragedy and congratulate you both on this event's success.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.